Viper. They had actually the third kid Tri-Stringer, by the way, and I think the Blaster is what I see so far. I wouldn't be shocked if they go back to those again. Octaves that we saw yesterday, DRF, had some screen time yesterday. Less said about that, the better for those who are in the loop. That I'd be curious to see how these two teams go. They made alpha brackets anyway from what we saw from day one, so I think if anything, how this first map kicks everything off is going to be the big thing here, as we are about to load right into Mahi zones to get this show on the road, as we do get to see the weapons loading in, some of them not entirely surprising from a distance here, as I have to take a quick look at the roster. Yes, it is going to be Watch My Belly on the blue side. Purple side is Octaves, or pinkish side, correction, is Octaves. Anything that strikes out to you, DRF?
Well, the thing that immediately stands out is that we are getting a Tri-Stringer duel here. Now, both these players, I believe, do regularly run the Tri-Stringer, but it's still a surprise nonetheless, because it's not often that you do get two players in the same lobby that utilize the Tri-Stringer. It's just not that common of a weapon, but it creates for some fascinating duels, as we see Rose going to be utilizing that Zipcaster to get the mid-air shutdown on the jetpack.
Yeah, and right away with Rose using that Zipcaster, knowing that the first focus was to basically get that jetpack out of the board, and that's exactly what we saw. And it does lead to Octaves actually being slightly with that advantage so far. Excuse me. Watch My Belly still trying to combat it. Rose goes down with them. It's a 1-for-1 trade across the board, and he's by using the triple splashdown to at least force neutral. Everybody's still trying to barely move forward right now, but losing the decap isn't gonna help. Losing the duelies ain't gonna help either. And it's now advantage Octaves. It's 3 down. I think DRF, this could be the game right away here from Octaves. About 12 points remaining. The respawn's not necessarily favoring them. And DRF right out of the game from the first game. Octaves strikes first, and it's game 1 going over to them.
Yeah, a beautiful execution there to quickly gain back control of the zone, despite, losing that initial power grab. But here we are. They managed to flip that one back on its head and take game number 1. It seemed like, I was really focused in on the battle of the Tri-Stringers there. And I think one thing that, especially with the Tri-Stringers, is that it does slow down your options a little bit, especially as you start to get pushed back, because especially with the Tri-Stringer, it's not the fastest backline, or it doesn't necessarily have the greatest reach to try to make big plays on its own. And I think that we definitely saw that a little bit from Wash My Belly. Every time they got shut down, the Tri-Stringer really didn't have a choice but to fully back up. And it's a little bit of a trickier weapon to utilize to hold positions, but especially if your team's offense is flowing like it was in Octaves, I mean, that Tri-Stringer could pretty much go anywhere and just be an absolute nuisance, build up these tiny little ink walls that make it so difficult to break through. So that's really what I was focused in on that first match, and I'm curious to see if that's going to continue.
Wouldn't be shocked if we do get to see the Tri-Stringer make its return, even on Watch My Belly down 1-0. They'll have to make a counter pick. Now, it's interesting to see best of 3 counter picks here, DRF. You normally, you go anywhere else, you see counter picks right around that best of 5 marker. This is basically the one counter pick, and it has to be the counter pick that gets them the victory here. So it's basically a collection match that they're choosing because since he didn't win the previous one, of course. So ultimately, I wouldn't be. I wanted to see from Watch My Belly if they want to stick, especially with the decap being the interesting wrinkle for this group. Wanting to see how. I want to see what map they want to use that takes advantage of, not just the Tri-Stringer they have, but they also have the Blaster and that decap that showed up. And I think they have a lot of good options there, and I think they're mulling over it, especially with this being only your one best map that you have against Octave.
Yeah, and actually, the one thing that I wanted to circle back to here with the rosters is actually with Wash My Belly. We do have a number of CCA folks, and I'm obligated to shout them out for that particular reason. With Galanka, I know plays for Reef Runners, Peace with the UCF Knights, Disco, I believe is WPI. So, a lot of very actually familiar faces that I was kind of looking at the roster. I was like, okay, wait, hold on a second. so, uh, so yeah, no, a lot of fantastic players. I mean, these are all key players on their respective collegiate rosters. So I'm interested to see how things have been meshing for them so far. I mean, they got up to this point, so that things have to be going right to at least some extent. But I am curious to see how the dynamics are going to continue to go through this set, especially with these counter picks now in play.
I know you were probably ready to get the CCA lore ready to go once you saw them. It's funny because you mentioned Galong, so like that's definitely a name I've seen from the CCA side of the fence. I'm glad you even covered that as well. So love to see it here as the second map being picked by Watch My Belly. It is Hagglefish Market Tower Control now. I think I kind of see where they're trying to go with this. If they want to stick with the weapons that they have, it's actually not necessarily a bad map. You got a blaster player that showed you. The decav, especially with the bubble usage, is going to prove to be key. Ultimately, what I'm going to be intrigued to see is how this all meshes together. I think for Octaves is all right. We see their counterpick now. How do we work against that? And I think it starts to become a game of chess, basically, DRF, when we get to these counterpick choices. So, I mean, I want to see how this Hagglefish Market Tower Control game gets set up here. I'm sure the exact same questions are going to be answered here from Octaves, as we do see. Okay, Disco's going to be switching over to that is the Sticker Snappers. That's the one with the Booyah Bomb in play. We are still going to get your Tri-Stringer duel at the very least. I think minimal changes I saw from Octaves here. DRF, anything that seems surprising to you, or no surprises here?
Definitely. So as we'd mentioned with Mahi Mahi Resort, it's one of those map modes where you can't fully anticipate that those are weapons that everyone's going to be sticking with, and that rings true especially for Wash My Belly, but not quite the adjustments that I was anticipating from Wash My Belly as they find the 3 down. Just Rose left standing, but was going to be forced to jump out, and Wash My Belly off to a hot start here.
Wash My Belly, by the way, a well-placed Booyah Bomb that takes out 2 from the left side, add the additional pick to the right. And when you have a strong opening like that right away from Wash My Belly, that can give you a lot of room to work with. Disco left uncontested. It is a 2-member onslaught onto their base, but they lose both of them in the process. Even with the 2-for-2 trade, can Jesse at least get the first checkpoint? The answer so far is he'll get two picks for themselves, and that will for sure be the first checkpoint. The nice little power swap there, and you're at the treacherous second checkpoint is approaching. Everybody starts to move to the right-hand side of the map, and now for Octaves, can they play defensively? Can they get the defense started? There's a pick on the Cora, and it looks like they will wisely have to retreat. They got more than what they could ask for, though. He's still very much alive. Base is still in base there, DRF. I think Watch My Belly has a lot of room to work with at the very least.
They have their hands full, and Octaves doing everything they can, but able to find 2, make it a 3rd, and finally this push is shut down. Yo, that push lasted for over a minute because they got that tower moving about 30 seconds in with that 3 down plus the jump out, and now 3:20 remaining is when it finally resets. Now Octaves are looking to see if they can just running out of that zip caster a little bit too soon to make a big offensive play here. So this tower remains in neutral territory, but it's gonna come down to this next team fight here. Not a lot of specials online, except for that Booyah Bomb that just came through, but it looks like we're gonna have a bit of a special drought for just a minute here. So everyone, I think, is gonna just slow things down and try to fight for position and try to build up the specials once again.
I think you're exactly gonna be on the money here, especially with both teams having both Booyah Bombs in play here. We take a look at the dueling treasures. Sometimes having to play the secondary story here to this one. It's going to come down to really your special usage, especially if you can utilize that Booyah Bomb to get a full control of the map, or even getting a handful of picks that they want to target right away. But with the way the game is kind of playing out so far, it's going to come down to the picks that Octaves needs. And Rose really wasn't the one that got the 2, but the rest of the team was able to follow suit. And now Octaves has a nice little counter push coming up here. Peace has to retreat to the other side of the map, and that will at least be the first checkpoint. Maybe breaking through. They are having to do a few tower swaps here and there to get themselves set up for success. S-Blast gonna drop as well. It is gonna be picks going left and right here, close to the second checkpoint. Geese is trying to target Pure Snow, which they are able to, but they are gonna get caught out there by Strings. Kind of a crazy skirmish across the board here, DRF. And so far, Octaves is still keeping the gas pedal going, but they may have to slow down a bit.
Yeah, they're gonna have to pull back, but it looks like someone tried to make a move for the tower, does get shut down there. So things now for sure have to slow down, but Octaves doesn't want to quite give it up yet. They're continuing to be aggressive, but kind of throwing themselves into isolated situations that's costing them one by one. So they are finding a couple trades here, but now the tower has fully reset. And able to dodge right around the triple splashdown as well. Rose somehow gets out of that unharmed, and okay, that's a great move, followed by just getting shut down by turning the corner. So this tower though, back into an aggressive position. Aura able to get a trade? But more importantly, this tower now within 3 points of getting the lead, but not gonna get there. An absolute bizarre skirmish there with Wash My Belly to somehow hold on to the lead.
I don't know how Wash My Belly was even able to hold off defensively there with how messy that fight became, because I thought Rose at least would have gotten the advantage there with the crab tank. But nevertheless, it is still an advantage Wash My Belly. Now they burned the Booyah Bomb earlier, so you don't have GG specials in play, but you have Core that at least can play for spacing there right away here. They dropped the Stinger Snappers. Someone has to touch the tower at the very least. It's Pure Snow all the way through, but they are gonna lose everybody in the process. They didn't even need the GG specials whatsoever. Octaves just a little too far ahead. Wash My Belly got control. Hey, DRF, best of 3, no matter the cost, we're going the distance. And now it's Octaves' turn to see what map they want to get their to get this set to be in their favor. What a response though, DRF, right away to get this one started.
Yeah, they definitely, hit hard and fast early in that one. Wash My Belly seemed like they were in control for most of that game. Now, Octaves was really close. They got within striking distance twice. So they definitely had Wash My Belly a little bit on the back foot there, especially in the second half. But they were able to actually hold on, which was fantastic. A couple of huge clutch plays. It seemed like a lot was kind of happening, not necessarily like on the tower itself, but a lot of the action was kind of happening in the peripheral of the tower, where folks were getting in, especially on Wash My Belly side, were hitting angles that were making it a little bit more difficult for Octaves to devote all their resources towards the tower, and thus isolating anybody that was making a move on the tower, which resulted in just one by one Octaves going down left and right. I think that really was the key there for Wash My Belly to take that game. You could tell that was a perfect map mode choice for them, because they executed that to perfection, to what it felt like they were used to. And Keone, as we say that, we were both thinking this. Thinking this, but I did not want to say anything.
I wanted to see what they wanted to pick. Now it gets our hearts. There might be some bias in our statements here, DRF, with Rainmaker. I want to see what Octaves can take advantage here with Humpback Pump Drive Rainmaker. Fundamentally another different map mode. There they had the S-Blast, the Tri-Stringer that rounds out that group comp, along with that NZAP as well. So I think I kind of see what they're trying to go for here. You got a much more condensed map. You can play a lot more. You can play a lot more fighting oriented there. You can also try to see if Rose can take advantage with their Octobrush, with their Zipcaster Octobrush as well. So I think I kind of see the vision. But I know DRF, this gets our hearts a lot here, because we've seen our fair share of fun Rainmaker maps in the past.
Yep, absolutely. So if history has ever told us something, it's that when Keone and DRF are on the mic, you're bound to get a set-deciding final game Rainmaker game that is bound to be interesting. And Now, Kyo, this was the follow-up question that I was gonna ask is, do we see the pivots to the well string because it is Rainmaker? And the answer is yes and yes.
I think both teams answered that twofold there as well. Okay, so both teams apparently are sharing the same brain cell to say the least there, DRF. Both tri-stringer players, and they're gonna both switch over to the well string. This is of course vanilla with that Ultra Stamp variant there. Honestly, probably the pick you gotta make. As well, tri-stringer kind of doesn't work itself out well. Jesse somehow dodges the Ultra Stamp. We'll break down the weapons in greater detail here soon because so far, Watch My Belly's already off to a hot start, as you noted before, as you mentioned several times before. It is going to be the first checkpoint cleared right out of the gate here. The question is how fast can this push go? Because they are going to go full speed ahead here, but with 2 members dropped, Disco still getting the pick on the snow might help their cause, but they may not have enough paint to make this one happen. But your Watch My Belly is still keeping the pressure going.
Somehow that hammer able to just barely grab the edge of the hitbox there. And now it's Octaves who's able to force the Rainmaker reset. Watch My Belly with a fantastic opening minute push. But Octaves now the one in the potential driver's seat here as they have the special online, but no, now they've used all their specials. So Octaves not working with anything was able to at least get themselves back into a mid position, but now all their resources are gone and they have to retreat back into the elbow. Now Pure Snow gonna be able to shark this one out as oh, they're gonna get called out there. So this is now starting to look a little bit iffy again for Octaves as Wash My Belly looking to turn that corner. Just a little bit of pressure, trying to slow things down. And with Jesse now the last one up, it looks like it's gonna be their final stand in this push, and it is over. Octaves now gonna get another opportunity to reclaim mid and see if they can, you know, utilize these specials maybe just a little bit later and get some points on the board.
And exactly what you noted there too, the special usage was going to be the big thing here as Rose immediately tries to dive deep into this one, gets 2 picks with that Kraken, is able to get the 3rd, and this is huge. This is going to be the Rainmaker now moving forward here. Jesse finally getting the Ultra Stamp, sending 1 member away, and gets the 2nd pick as well. Full of highlight real shenanigans in play, and it leads to the Octaves lead swap there, all enabled honestly by great special usage. William was there to provide some coverage. There is the perfect usage of the Kraken, managing to be able to use the Kraken to its full potential there with 2 picks, and then able to get the 3rd with that Octobrush as well, and it pretty much allowed the lead change to happen. But now Octaves maybe quickly lose their lead on the other side, and they do lose their lead on the other side as well. Both teams trading blow for blow here in a very condensed, chaotic map as the Rainmaker finally dropped to lower ground. Octaves only held the lead for maybe a few moments here, DRF, but it was Watch My Belly. And the response, I take that back. Spring gets another pick. This has been a crazy map to say the least here, DRF.
It was bound to happen, Keone.
Yup.
Fate never lets us have a rest when it comes to Rainmaker. And we are so back, baby, as these teams continue to deliver. It is now Octaves looking for the 4th lead swap of the game. And no, they are going to get shut down right there by the checkpoint. Things slowing down once again. But it is going to be up to Wash My Belly to put up an iron defense. And it doesn't look like they got the pop quite yet. Are they going to try to manage this? No. Okay, they're going to go ahead and finally get that pop out there. So it is going to be Jesse that finds the pick with the well string. And now it looks like everybody going to be moving back into mid. They want to try to get it back into a nice position here. But no! 1.3 down. Rose going for the pop now. This is a golden opportunity for Octaves to try to find a response as members slowly coming back up and Wash My Belly. They turn the corner with rapid pacing, trying to make a move here, but it's gonna be the hammer that finds one. Strings now has to back up, try to be able to get their teammates to get back into the action. And Keone with 30 seconds to play, it looks like Octaves, they're gonna go 3 down and make it a wipeout. Is this it? It looks like it just might be.
it might be the game here. The respawn's not necessarily favoring them. They have an Ultra Stamp that is no longer available. Right as I noted that, Disco immediately gets a pick and they lose it. So now Rose has to now swim the other direction. Jesse knows where everybody is. Everybody's just trying to cross right into them. That's 2 members that have dropped. Now it's at least guaranteed overtime. Somebody has to pick up this Rainmaker at the very least. Who's going to be the one on Rainmaker duty in the final stage of this game? It's going to be Rose. They're not going to have an Octo Brush. They are going to get Collapse Spawn. That's the Booyah Bomb being pushed out to the left-hand side of the map. Everybody's now crouching to this left-hand side, but they got completely cornered. It's cornered there. I have to see who got the pick, but I think that may have been Disco there that got him through in the corner. DRF, multiple lead changes. One great opportunity for Octaves just wasn't enough in the end. And Wash My Belly will win the set. They move on to the next round. And that is going to be Octaves. They'll have to go do it in the lower bracket, see if they can make that one forward. But what a crazy end to a very fun best of 3.
That was our opening round, folks. That was a fantastic game number 3 with the lead swaps left and right. A last-second Hail Mary that had some potential there from Octaves, but it was just a little, it was too little, too late. So